Bobby Kraft coming to you live on SNNLive. I'm here at the Toronto Resource Investment Conference 2013. I'm here with Mickey Fulp, the Mercenary Geologist. That's mercenarygeologist.com, at mercenarygeo. Mick, welcome to SNNLive.
Good to see you once again, Bobby.
Always a pleasure. All right, Mick, it's been a long summer. We're now all back. It's the fall. The weather's changing. What's going on?
It's baseball season. we're coming on to the playoffs, and my team, the St. Louis Cardinals, are where they always are, in first place in the National League Central. Your Yankees are struggling. They still are in the playoff race, so we'll see.
You just, I think you said you just got back from a trip to Alaska?
Not just got back, but I was in Alaska for a field trip in late July, and I saw 4 world-class base metal deposits that have been known for a long time, but Alaska's infrastructure challenged, and so these 4 advanced projects, I went and visited them, and I came away convinced that it might be time for interior Alaska for some of these things to be developed.
So what changed your mind? Was it the fact that it's now a little bit easier for construction and infrastructure, or were there other reasons surrounding that?
Well, these deposits, some of them have been known for as long as 35 years. They are generally remote, infrastructure challenged, climate challenged. So there have been efforts over the interim to develop them, but because of the difficulty of access, they've kind of gone away. So now they're coming back, and part of that has to do with the fact that the junior business has had a very sketchy track record in the second and third worlds with environmental difficulties, with permitting difficulties, with resource nationalism, outright appropriation. So what we see in the market are people want to go someplace where there are giant deposits and there is security of mineral tenure and there's a rule of law. Well, what better place to do that than in the United States? What better place to find giant undeveloped deposits than Alaska? So
we're starting to see a turn back more domestic.
Yeah, I think so. You know, some of the smart money's come to me over the last 6 months and goes, find us a good copper deposit in the U.S. Do you know of a good undeveloped gold deposit in the United States? So you see the smart money starting to pull in a bit.
So you said you went up to see base metal deposits in Alaska. Was there a reason behind base metals, or were you just going to check out Alaska to see what was going on infrastructure-wise?
Well, I got invited on some trips, and it kind of got expanded. So I went and saw Northern Dynasty's Pebble project. I went and saw Nova Copper's Arctic and Bornite copper projects. Now, Arctic is a polymetallic deposit, so copper, zinc, gold, and silver, and even some lead there. And then I went above the Arctic Circle, and I looked at Zazu Metals Lick deposit, which is about 20 kilometers from Red Dog, which is the largest lead zinc mine in the world. So Lick is a lead zinc deposit. What has changed in Alaska is, or what is now occurring as Alaska, is the support of the state government, financial support, and that's always been there. Red Dog was developed because the state of Alaska, through a group called a pseudo-governmental sort of corporation called ADA, the Alaska Industrial Development Administration, provides infrastructure. So they bond and they get state funds, and they built the whole road for Red Dog, built and owned. They built the port loading facilities for Red Dog, which allowed Red Dog to be developed in the 1980s. That program, and then they lease the infrastructure back to the company. So that program has now paid off all its capital costs and is returning money to the general fund in Alaska. So these companies are working on that sort of model. And Ada, right now, for instance, Ada is doing an LNG deal from the North Slope to compress natural gas and ship LNG to Fairbanks, because they have an energy problem, very high energy costs. They burn coal there, they pollute their air, so LNG is an obvious starting point. So building a pipeline to support that infrastructure. So, for instance, Red Dog was so successful, that model is now being used by the state of Alaska again.
Very interesting. So for my viewers out there who may have looked at base metals before or are new to base metals, what is the importance of base metals, and why are people going to these lengths to get them out of the ground?
Well, they're major metals used in all commercial and industrial processes on Earth. For instance, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for copper. You need copper to transmit electricity. So 3 of the 4 projects I went and looked at are mainly copper projects. There are 75 to 80,000 more mouths to feed on the planet every day. That's a lot of people. There are 25% of the world's population can't turn on the light switch at night. They live in the dark. You need copper to generate or to transmit electricity. So the demand for copper is going to continue. It averages 3 to 4% a year. It has since 1900, and that's not going to go away because 1.7 billion people can't live in the dark, and that's changing, especially in Eastern Asia.
So you also told me that you are sitting on a panel about uranium. Can you explain what that panel might be about, or what's going on currently in the uranium market?
Well, I was on a panel on uranium. That was at 9:30 this morning. The general view is the short-term uranium market, to use a word, sucks. We don't see any indication that the short-term spot price of uranium, which is now $34 a pound, is going to have any major increases. But the general consensus is it's a great contrarian play because it is the base load electrical source for as far out as anybody can see. It's all about base load electricity. That's got to be supplied either by hydrocarbons or uranium. Any increases in the world, that's where it's going to come from. The other source would be hydroelectric, but that's a very small part of the entire energy budget. Wind and solar require government subsidies to be economic. Sun doesn't shine for 12 hours a day on average, and the wind only blows occasionally. So they do not supply baseload electricity.
So where can people go and find out more information about your newsletter, get to see this interview and other interviews that you do?
mercenarygeologist.com is the website. mercenarygeologist.fm is our 24/7 streaming audio. The audio portion of this interview will go on that. And at Mercenary Geo is the Twitter account. We are very active on Twitter. We have fun with Twitter. If you want to see my latest fish catch, go on Twitter and join 32,500 followers at Mercenary Geo.
This has been Bobby Kraft, and I'm here live at the Toronto Resource Investment Conference 2013. With me is Mickey Fulp, the Mercenary Geologist, mercenarygeologist.com. Mick, I want to thank you for coming on SNN Live, and I wish you and your Cardinals the best of luck.
And you and your Yankees the best of luck too, Bobby.
All right, thanks, Mick.